learned the hard way.
Welcome to Models Talk. Let's talk about it.
Yes. Get in here, y'all. This is your girl Zahargi Hannah with Models Talk. Hey, lovely lady. How are you, Miss Latrice?
I'm good. Thank you.
Look at you looking all fantabulous. Oh, the fantabulousness.
Thank you.
You gotta flip the hair for me. Flip it. There we go.
Now.
All right, now. Welcome to Models Talk, honey.
Thanks. Yes.
You're welcome. I'm sorry?
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. You are so more than welcome. All right, let's just go and get right into this little chat. We talk about everything good, bad, ugly, and indifferent in the industry. We talk about what's done in the dark gonna come out in the light, and it's just gonna be seen. So we shine a light on all that, and you say what you want to say, how you want to say it. It don't matter to us.
Perfect.
Okay, so just be you, baby. Just be you. Look, I was told by a mutual friend of ours.
Yes.
Yes, the one and only Bentley. Yes, we have to shout out Bentley. Yes.
Bentley.
But shout out Bentley and say, okay, where are you from? Tell us some things about you.
Yeah. So I'm originally a New Yorker. I grew up in Long Island. Pretty much so, Long Island princess. I graduated from Freeport High School. By way of Hempstead, and that's my stomping grounds. And my mom is originally from Southside Jamaica, Queens. So I kind of straddled between Long Island life and city life, and growing up in that whole aspect. And that's just kind of been the basis of my life, duality. Like the grass is green, and then there's the projects, and then there's so I'm that girl.
Well, all right. Well, look, we call it hood queen.
Okay.
Hood queen. When you go that duality life, we used to call it hood queen in Missouri. When you're from the city, but you live in the suburbs.
Right. I've got suburb life, and I've got and it served me well. I wouldn't change it.
All right, now, what did you learn growing up about fashion, sweetie? You were in the fashion capital, so what did you learn all about? Where did all this inspiration come from, sis?
Yeah, well, a lot of it came from family. I have an older cousin who actually, I saw her make all of the bridal parties dresses for my aunt's wedding. So that was my first introduction to pattern making and understanding seams and understanding fabric. Another portion of that was my mother. My mother was just very infused into the arts. The culinary was her specialty. And then also, she painted and sketched.
Oh, wow.
And all those things. Me, I'm on the music side. I always tell my brother this. I'm like, I'm the stick figure girl. And, you guys got the cooking and the drawing. But me, music struck a bug in me at an early age. Performing a lot. The school that we went to, which is Jackson, Maine Elementary, our principal coined it Jackson Maine University. Rest in peace, Mr. Tyree Curry. Our school was really, really blessed with a lot of gifted students, a lot of gifted individuals. Some of my classmates that I see now, I just burst out of joy for their success and whether it's the education sector or if it's entertainment or just entrepreneurship. We are just a special cluster of kids.
Right.
And we had a lot of performing arts, a lot of extracurricular activities that I was always engulfed in. My parents really pushed me in that direction. So performing in arts and fashion was just always a thing.
Oh, are you the only girl in the family?
I am the only child of my father. So daddy's girl. And then mom had a brother that I begged for. And I have a little sister, so I'm the oldest.
Okay, well, all right then. You got your brother, and then you got a baby sister. You didn't know how to act, did you? You didn't know how to act. I know they were both admiring you as you were coming up and doing your thing.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. Look, you did something fantabulous. I heard. I heard
Thank
that
you.
that you took it on the road, baby, and went all the way across the water.
I did. I did.
Talk to me about that.
Well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit about my upbringing. When I
Sure.
was 9 years old, I told my mother that I was going to go to France. And I
Okay.
told my mother I would live there, and I told her I would have a little white dog. And she held that to me. Bless her soul. I lost her in 2021, but she is a huge staple in my businesses. And
Oh,
Carnegie. Oh God, he's the true CEO. I'm telling you, we work for him.
Look at that baby. I love dogs.
Yeah, he is my spoiled multi-poo. But I told her that that's what I was going to do. And she said, okay, little girl, like, kind of thing. But I did. Eventually, I did go to Paris, and it unfolded a way where I thought I wouldn't go. COVID struck when I developed an interest from a group that was a fashion show production showcase group for emerging designers. At that time, I wasn't necessarily an emerging designer. I already had a thriving business in a boutique in Atlanta, but for me to actually showcase, outside of the country, I've never done that. So I guess I would fall into that category. Tracy Murray, which was the show's executive producer at that time, she did find me in Alexandria, and they invited me to Fashion Week Studio. At the time COVID hit, we couldn't travel, so I did a virtual show. That's actually how I got introduced to Bentley. My lovely executive administrator operations now. That happened very swiftly, but we ended up working together in the virtual show. And then the following season, I went and debuted in Paris at the Ritz-Carlton.
Yes, baby. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Snatch that bull by the horns, girl, and run.
And it was amazing because unbeknownst to me, I didn't know that it was the first time that a lingerie designer debuted there in a decade. The last lingerie showcase there was Etam's lingerie show, which is a prominent lingerie fashion brand in France. And the last time they did a show, it was theirs, and it was like Shaka Khan and like Grace Jones or somebody that was there. I don't remember, but that was like 10 years before I even thought of it. I was honored. I was happy, and I was the only lingerie designer in that entire showcase. So it was kind of cool to, be the only one.
Wow. When you say Grace Jones, girl, I just faint. That's because she is my shero. She is,
she's everything.
Look, and see, her body would just be pow, but all that. Yeah, look at you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. That's hot.
So that was from our recent showcase that I actually produced. My show was in 2022 at the Ritz-Carlton. So if you're probably pretty posh lingerie, you can probably pull it. It should be there somewhere. But that is actually my original posh girl. Tamara. She's my original posh girl. I mean, she's just phenomenal. She's Argentinian, very, very, very established in the modeling world. She's just gotten published in, I believe it was Elle. She's done Vogue before. She's in just the sweetest, most humblest, gracious, just sweet aura there is. I mean, I would cast her every day of the week.
I mean, sometimes you just have those that you would put that kind of energy into, because they give you so much, you know. Yeah. I understand that. So you're here in Atlanta?
I was. I used to live in Atlanta for about 7 to 8 years. I kind of came out there in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Was, which was cool. It was a different experience coming from the north to the south. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my dad had family in the south. My grandma lived in Augusta and stuff. So it was cool. It was a very good experience for me because I saw a lot of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it made me feel really good. And it was warm. It's different. I would say the pace is. It was actually competitive in pace. I'll be very honest.
Yes.
I wasn't expecting that. But it definitely was. It was competitive in pace. I was like, yo, we moving, we shaking up. Am I down south?
Yes,
But
we are.
yes, and I love it, and I love the embracing of us, and I love the collaborative efforts and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I really didn't expect because at first, when you're the Yankee in the room, you know what I mean?
I
It's like
know.
it's a little close knitted and stuff, but art is art, and I'm telling you that breaks down so many barriers.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even funny, and,
Yeah.
and I can live to tell it. So if you want to break the ice in a room somewhere, if you're involved in art, it's much easier.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You
Yeah.
are absolutely right because I found that's the same situation when I came here in '94.
Yeah.
And I've been here over 30
You was in
years.
the
And
thick of it. Like I was watching you trying to wish I was. Woo! 90s. Come on now.
yes, baby, I've been here since '94, and I got back into the industry here and hit the floor running, and I had to run, gun, and sling some. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, and been doing it ever since, and love being a mature model, love being a seasoned model here in Atlanta. And it is my dream to walk in Milan. It is my dream to walk in Paris. Milan first,
Yes.
because I want to go shoe shopping.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
That has always been my dream since I was an itty bitty
Flawless.
soul.
Your skin is
Yes.
absolutely flawless. I'm like, wow. I'm just admiring your skin. Is
Oh,
absolutely
thank you.
flawless. I
Thank you
can't
so
stop
much.
being a producer for a minute. I'm just like, but yes,
Baby, let me tell you, Vaseline and hot water. That's all I do.
I know. I know
That
that.
I'm old school, so it's Vaseline to take the makeup off, hot water, wash it off, a little Vaseline put back on, and that's it. That's my regime. I don't do nothing else. Do the same thing to my bald head.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, ma'am. Then then beat the face when they gotta beat the face. And
Yeah.
this is TV face. Then model face is a whole different face.
Perfect. I know it. I love it.
TV face, podcast face, whatever.
Gorgeous.
So, when you are picking your models, what do you look for?
Well, first thing I look for is how confident are you? I look at your confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this that Bentley headlines that department. I do like the final say or nay, but he really does the final nay or say or nay, because he is a runway coordinator extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
This guy just, I mean, he knows,
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me, I look more like for the authenticity. I also match up with what I think the designer's vision is and what would be a good mesh and how they would go with each designer because it is normally a shared show.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see the versatility in a model. That's what I look for first off. Second thing is the walk. If Bentley hates your walk, he won't make it. but we for the most part we have been very lucky with the cluster of models that we have. Sometimes we can't really decide. And then, not lastly, but personality. Like,
Yes.
can be drop dead gorgeous. And if you don't have the personality to match,
If you got stank attitude, you can't go nowhere.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And we've experienced that. And we go on with it. We get our shots, we get our things that we need, and then we won't cast you again. Or something like that. That, and eventually as a person in the industry, you grow, you learn.
Right.
And either you change your ways and you grow with the time, and you might miss the opportunity because of it, and you just learn from it. That's
Yeah. But the problem is that there are those that don't grow from it, that, they won't take the constructive criticism. They don't know how to be thick skinned. They don't know how to take it, marinate in it, and then make the change. You see what I'm saying?
Right. You
And
got
that's what's sad about seeing the models come in, or people come into our industry and think they're all that, and their attitude just takes everything away.
yeah, and that's
It's
so
just sad.
it's so unfortunate because it's a domino effect.
Mm-hmm,
The designer loses out. You
mm-hmm,
lose out. A photographer will lose out on a great shot.
mm-hmm.
And then the world won't get to see you deliver. So it's unfortunate that everybody gets impacted from that refusal to grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's you know hopefully the industry gets more people like Bentley that can cultivate and coach and kind of he helps with all of that. I'm lucky to have him within my organization for that. And it some people just they gotta fall to learn.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And some people fall and they don't know how to get back up.
Nope.
They
Nope.
really don't. What are the changes that you think need to be made in our market?
Which market specifically? In modeling or show production or
Show
fashion?
the general, because you do it all. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You've seen it from all sides.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you have modeling and then show production. Let's go with show production first. What changes do we need to make in order to make it better for everybody?
I think in show production for me and what my personal mission is to embark on different spaces. I think it needs to be more unique. We need to shift the paradigm from the traditional production standpoints, where it's like, okay, we've got some rows of chairs. Okay, you're important. You sit up here.
Mhm.
Not as important. Maybe you'll get in. That whole thing needs to go. I think,
Mhm.
and that's hence the name of my company, which is Front Row. Everyone is front row,
Mhm.
right? And you're treated as such. You are just as important. Your set of eyes is just as important as this journalist from a super magazine or not. Because I've been a spectator as an editor of a magazine also, so I have that perspective.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
So when I came up with this production company, I put a medley of all of these perspectives, and I sat down and I made a blueprint on what I wanted this to look like. I don't want to go to a traditional venue. I want
Right.
to go outside of a venue. I don't want to go to the traditional city and let where they're always at. I'm taking it outside of the
Mhm.
city. I want models that are not, run of the mill. Let's go get some models from Greece. Let's go get
Mhm.
some models from, let's bring some United States designers and bridge the gap for them into a European market. Let's,
Absolutely.
let's flip this paradigm. So I think those are the changes. It needs a little bit more diversity, and let's kind of break away from the traditions, the norms.
Mhm.
Not be outlandish, but let's start having more of an open mind.
Yes. And on the model side of that?
Model side of it, I think that we're doing a good job so far from what I'm seeing on a mainstream scale. The inclusivity I see has increased
Mhm.
over the last few seasons, and
Yes.
it's just me editor spectating, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and I'm seeing a lot more ethnicity,
Mhm.
and this is me in Paris. I'm seeing
Right.
this, right? So I can't speak so much for American shows because I'm primarily based in Europe. So when I'm in Europe, I'm seeing far more efforts towards inclusivity than I'm seeing anywhere else.
That's amazing.
I think it's good strides in Paris. I'm giving you cookies when you need them, Paris. Okay, so,
Mhm.
but it's good strides in Paris when I'm seeing that. Um, and I do think that changes in it also though is I think it really falls on the production of the shows, because
Mhm.
once you get the root of that, then the models, the casting, all of that changes with it.
Right. The dynamics change.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, when you see that type of diversity there versus over here, how do we go about starting to change it here? Because from being here in the Atlanta market, and I've been in other markets as well, and growing through the process, because I've been in the game decades, so I've seen different things at different decades, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so when you see the diversity that I see here in the Atlanta market with the inclusivity, and then in the New York market, and I don't think the standard is the norm anymore.
No, it's not.
Which I'm so happy about. You see full figure sisters, and like I tell full figure sisters, y'all will work before I will.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
Especially here in the United States.
Yes.
Now I don't know about outside of the United States as much. There are those that are there.
Yeah, they're still coming along. They're still coming
along over the waters. I understand. This is what I've read, and because I read different types of reports on fashion,
right.
And I think that I would like to see more of that change in the European markets and in the Asian market and in the German market. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see more of that change, because not all their women are a size 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
True. That's very true, especially Asia. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think about that going on here? How do you feel about that going on here as far as inclusivity is concerned?
Well, for here, what I want to say is I like it, but I need it to be more authentic.
Say that again.
I need it to be more authentic. I need it to not be just a let's throw this in. Because I can tell. I'm gonna let you know. I can tell you just put her in there. You just show. This designer is trying. This designer is. I don't need bandwagon showcases. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that is going on here, and it's not being thought out thoroughly. And again, like I said, the origin still points back to production. Producing this show, who's curating the designers, are we having the conversations with the designers? Are we giving designers full range? Are we consulting designers? Is there a theme for this entire showcase in a general consensus of that theme with designers? These are things that really are important, and I think we're missing the mark a little bit on that. And with emerging designers, you have such a higher level of collectives. Because they're getting pulled from different places. These are people that are new. These are people that are fresh. These are people that may have not showcased before in life, right? So you got to kind of give them a coach and a guideline and a go-to. And I think if we start to theme the showcases and start giving a little bit of guideline towards what we need and a little bit more structure, then we would start to get, I'm not saying turn it into like Latrice, turning it into Nazi. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying just have a little bit of structure of, hey, this is going to be the such and such theme for this showcase. Like for me, and what I'm doing in February, Bentley and I are doing Valentine in Versailles. That is completely romance, completely period piece focused, very French, very, very retro, very royal, very regal. So when you put that out there as a producer and you're developing that, you already helped how you will curate. You've already helped who you will pull in and pull it out. So I think it needs more thought process on that aspect, and then everything else will fall in line.
Well, I think it was interesting is you're talking about themes, and back in the day, we did have a lot of theme shows. I was fortunate enough myself to be a Mackie girl, doing matinee shows in St. Louis, Missouri at the Fox Theater, and I was the cake girl, but it was a themed show based around these beautiful, long flowing, velveteen and satin and silks and all these beautiful capes, with all this, embroidery and going across your décolletage. And, mean, the arms were so, that's one thing that I really enjoyed about my modeling is that I have very long arms, and so I'm always able to flow with anything that's dome and sleeve and above, anything that's out is one of my favorite things to do, is because I was able to do that. And I curated that, like you say, during those types of themed shows,
Right.
that I was fortunate enough to walk with it. Then I became a Gloria Vanderbilt girl, and I was able to wear Gloria Vanderbilt jeans, mom jeans, when mom jeans were popular. They weren't called, they were just Vanderbilt jeans. And baby, you if you got a little bit of
Come on
booty,
now, okay, I know.
okay,
But I'm an 80s baby, so
okay, do you understand? You understand. But yeah, I was able to rock Vanderbilt jeans, and I was always the only girl of color. Always the only girl of color in those shows. And I mean, it may be two of us at the most. And then the other ones were told your booty's too big, and your waist is too thick, and then you don't have enough breasts to hold out the capelet. I mean, the things that people were told back then were so, I don't have a word for it, but they weren't necessarily quote unquote bad, especially compared to today and the way people come at people. It wasn't that they were so bad, but they were critiques, and they didn't know how to deal with that back then. But it's even worse today. But it's more accepted that you have big boobs and big butt and little bitty waist today than it was then, because you weren't accepted like that then.
No.
You had to be a stick with a pea on your butt.
Yeah, pretty much.
You had to have little booty, maybe a little bit of boobs, and I do mean a little bit, no more than a 34. No more than a 34A. You couldn't be a C.
I'm out.
You couldn't be a BC cover. I never knew how I got in, because I was always busty as a teenager. They called me baby brick, because I literally was 30, 36, 24, 36. I never understood how I got in, but I think it was because of the fact that I was always so tall and gangly. I was tall and carrying my little bit of weight in the right proportions that they wanted me to have it in. But today, the inclusivity of a girl that's 5'6" at 140 pounds.
That's what they
that's the average of America.
Yeah, it is.
And to me, it's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time that designers are looking beyond the size 0 to 6 realm. One of the questions that were asked, what future events do you have coming up?
Oh, yes. So I mentioned a few moments ago about Valentine in Versailles. So that is an event that is curated strictly for lingerie and intimate apparel designers. Because I feel like we don't have enough of those showcases being produced. And we have the big Vicky's Secret that came back, and Etam did something this year. But I think it's catching momentum now to start to focus on that. Models love to cast for those. I never have a casting problem with lingerie, but it's going to be in a very prominent venue. It'll be in the Waldorf Astoria in Versailles, so it'll be very close, adjacent to the actual Versailles Palace.
Oh, wow. How fabulous is that?
A dream venue of mine, of two. There's another one that is the opposite side of the palace, and I absolutely love. Jack Clemens did a show there last season. Amazing. I'll get there, but I'm definitely loving where we are. Waldorf is absolutely fantastic.
I can only imagine.
Shout out to Hilton. I love you guys. And it's going to be amazing. It's just a beautiful venue. It's just beautiful aura. I took Bentley there after our first, after our show in Nice for some R&R, and kind of, took him around to Paris.
Look at that.
I'm taking you to Versailles. And we went to Versailles and just cut up. We went in the palace, just acted a fool, and had a great time. So, and I told him when we were at lunch one day, I said, this is the place where I came up with the idea for Front Row, for what we're doing right now. Right. And he's like, what? I said, yeah, after I did my showcase at the Ritz, I had bronchitis. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's another story. Running through Paris with your racks and clothes looking crazy. But I ended up taking 2 days for a break. And I said, where am I going to go? I don't want to stay in Paris. And I said, okay, Versailles. Found this wonderful hotel, which happened to be a Waldorf Astoria. And I rested and I went over the things that I experienced from my showcase. And I just came up with the blueprint for Front Row.
Beautiful. What a godsend that must have been for you. How did that feel when you came up and then you saw it come to fruition?
I'm still in shock. Like, I feel like I will not really digest it until February when I'm there setting up and I've got my coordinator there actually putting racks and bringing stuff in, because I still am like, for what I did in Nice. I'm still like, I really did this. Okay. Like, I published the whole issue on it and everything, but it's so surreal to me still. And then it's like, I really did all this stuff. And Bentley and I were having one of our, our power meetings that we have. And he's like, Latrice, do you really know what you have done? And I'm like, no. Because I'm here, there. I'm like, oh, we got to do Lake Como. We got to do so I'm just like all the way over here now. I need to get back.
So do you have a magazine?
I do.
Tell us about the magazine.
I acquired Shuba magazine. It'll be a year in February, which will be so cool because I'll have the 1-year anniversary of Shuba and Valentine of Versailles going on at the same time. Cool. That is crazy. I just thought of that. Wow. Okay. But I acquired Shuba magazine. A good friend of mine actually owned and created the magazine. He lives overseas. And I was like scrolling one day, and I'll be honest, it was a place at that time in my life that I really didn't know what I was going to be exactly doing and how I was going to put things into perspective. And I saw this business associate forwarded over the communication about this magazine for sale. And I looked it up and I'm like, but everybody knows Shuba. I even had a conversation with Bentley about it. He was like, I was publishing Shuba. I remember them. They did such and such and such. So with so many people that I heard feedback from of Shuba being the first to publish them, I said, I want to be a part of that. I think this is a good buy. So I ran the numbers. I went ahead and bought it. And then after, some consultation with the previous owner, I said, you know what? I want to keep you on. Let's do our formatting, keep everything the way it is, but I want to expand it. Right. I think it's more than just high fashion photos. I think it's more than just internal. I'm going to take this out. So I came up with Shuba Life. And I started to embark in the lifestyle sector and building that up. And I have about 11 issues under my editorial direction now.
Yes, baby.
So, yeah, I'm super excited about that. And then, I've done everything from, I was in Milan. I went to the Ferrari store in Milan. After Drop Dead Gorgeous. Just Drop Dead Gorgeous.
I'm just at all.
You got to visit the site. It's all on the site at shuba.com, shubamagazine.com. I've done like a crazy retro vintage classic car race through the Alps of Italy and back through France and Switzerland and we ended in Milan, and I walked in a Ferrari store. I wanted to get a top, and I ended up doing an interview.
That's what I'm talking about.
Which was crazy.
Miles don't get fed, baby.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think that, and I just had an issue drop with Daniel Andriotti, who is the king of cakes. He's amazing head executive pastry chef at Oheka Castle in Long Island, New York. We just had an issue drop on him. Fantastic. He is the cake maker to the stars, featured in Vogue and a couple of Housewives cakes and everyone else. So I kind of turned my little adventures into this lifestyle sector, and I wanted to showcase us in spaces us in spaces.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the girl, little girl from Long Island. I'm in the Swiss and Italian Alps. Look at me. You know what I mean?
Yes, baby.
And yeah, I've done front row of Paris. I've done this, and I need to see more of us there. I also need to see more of us in production roles in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I want to shift the paradigm on. You asked me that earlier. That is the number one thing I want to see. I want to see more of us. I want to see more, minority females stepping up into these roles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's something that I'm working on, very prominent. February is the most immediate show, going back to your question. And then I'll be working with Pure London, where we will be presenting in a trade show in front of actual buyers.
Okay.
That's another thing we need to focus on, ladies and gentlemen, and producers. After you produce a show, you need to have another outlet for your designers. They need results. Press, you need to make sure you have the appropriate press. You need to make sure you have the appropriate network for designers to thrive and expand their brand. That's why they hired you. That's
Mm-hmm.
also why they do a show. They showcase because they want a potential buyer. They want to expand the brand beyond the level that they are now. And I think a lot of producers are missing that mark on these showcases.
Mm-hmm.
I actually offer a master class. I partnered with Jane McMillan. She is a master class that she offers for emerging fashion brands and running and owning a fashion business.
Mm-hmm.
Sidebar, I am working on one of those classes myself. I'm doing 5 modules a day, guys. Don't kill me. I also offer that for free if you are a participant in my showcase. So you
Wow.
also have a guide with that. I also offer, obviously, the opportunity for you to participate in the trade show at a discounted price. And then I also keep up and create an alumni with
Mm-hmm.
all the participants of my showcase. So I don't just run you down the runway and then bye, thank you for your money, I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
Alumni, we're all in our chat. Anything that's prominent with fashion, I let them know. Any other events that I have, I let them know they have first dibs. So it's like a free membership for now
Mm-hmm.
when you participate. And I just don't leave you to dry. You're
Right.
emerging. You're emerging, and you came to me for a reason.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is fabulous. Now, do you do the same thing for your up and coming models?
From models, Bentley is actually working on that sector. So, and he does actually, not working on, he actually does. Like I mentioned earlier with Tamara, we keep in contact with her on a regular basis, along with a few other models. He's amazing at that. All the models love Bentley, first of all. So everybody loves Bentley.
He's
You
easy
know,
to.
my designers, they fall in love with him. It's just, and he really is a big piece of front row, along with Haley Jane. Haley's phenomenal. She is my backstage director and coordinator. When those two get together, it's just like amazing. I'm gonna get an amazing show. And I think with the models and having that alumni, it also helps as well. It helps me with casting, of course, right? If you have a good basis and a good group and a good alumni, they're going to follow you everywhere you go. And you don't want to have the same repetitiveness, but you do want to have a baseline that you can count on, that you're going to see, or you're going to get this, right? And that'll help me also. Designers want this certain look. I've got it. I'm here, so it all works together.
Look at you.
Oh God. So Rita's, shout out to Rita's. We love Rita's in Mujan. We kind of went there after our fitting, and I gave Bentley some pizza with this specific special olive oil, and he had a fit. He fell out. He cried when we left.
He didn't want to leave.
He did not want to leave. He loves South France. South France is a different vibe. It's so different. South France is a vibe where, it's the Riviera. It's not Paris. Paris is Paris, honey. Okay. But it is a different vibe. It's, Saint Tropez, you get into Cannes. I covered the Cannes Film Festival for my magazine. We got some prominent people. Shout out to Mestiz. He is my head photographer that does a lot of coverage on the events. He got Naomi Campbell to pose for him.
Oh, well,
yeah,
loud.
He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And he has the best personality for a photographer ever. Everybody will just pose for him. It doesn't matter. I'm just like, how'd you get that? And he's from Poland. So I always laugh and say I've got like the United Nations working on.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's like everybody is from whatever, and it's amazing that. Hey guys, that's me in Ohika Castle. I just love that. I love that place. That's like my new home now. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Daniel. I love it there.
I love that picture of you. You look so preeminent.
Thank you.
I like
Rebecca Grant, phenomenal artist. She's in London. Her grandfather actually started not too far from there in the hills in Nice, in the Riviera, and those are her pieces that I actually helped her curate into a fashion collection. So she debuted those very pieces on the runway.
Stop it.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Fantastic. What I'm talking about. This is next level. This is going beyond the ordinary. This is not statutory. This is a stagnant,
Yeah.
This is fashion. This is high fashion. This is haute couture fashion.
Yes.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what we need to learn and study. And being a student of the industry, this is the kind of things that you like to see sisters and brothers doing.
Yes.
And putting your best out there and knowing that you're going to get bigger.
Yeah.
You're going to get bigger.
Some stuff I can't really talk on just yet, but it's going to be
okay.
And I'm bringing it back home. I'm bringing it back to the States.
Look,
I will say this.
On when you're ready to talk about it.
I will say this little hint. It's going to be in Hollywood. And the venue is owned by somebody very, very famous.
I can't wait. I may have to make that trip. To see that trip.
It'll be April, so you guys hang out and sit tight for that.
Okay. All right. I look forward to that. That's definitely doable.
Yes. You have to come, Sarah. You have to. You just have
It would be fabulous. It would be a fabulous moment for me.
Yes.
Because come October, I want to be in Milan. I'm going back to-
You got to get your shoes, and you've got to come to Milan. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be so good.
I might be knocking on your door saying, "Look, come on, let's ride."
Listen, I'm over there all the time. It's like, child, Europe and this passport. I'm like, look, I told Bentley, I'm like, look, okay, so we just need to get this.
Look at that.
So that's us delivering. Oh yeah, I was delivering some pieces to a client we had a meeting with. Andreas, actually, he's the manager of Ali Madavi, who's a prominent Parisian photographer. He shot Dita Von Teese, Karl Lagerfeld.
No Dita Von Teese.
So he's the real deal. He's the real deal.
Know the work.
He's a real deal. Hopefully he'll meet with us in Versailles. But I was just lottie-dottie and
I just locked it out.
I'm like in the move in Paris all the time. It's just always on the move.
I'm sure it brings you into a mood. I'm sure it makes you just feel special. Like you just with a big gigantic hug, and because you're in your zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's good. It's a good feeling, because one thing I would say about being in Europe, and I know you got to go, the collaborative efforts are immense. Everyone wants to collaborate and do something. It's no gatekeeping as much as it is here. We gotta drop that. We need to shed a lot of the stuff we're doing here. I'm telling you, because we'll be behind the curve if we don't. And that's part of the reason why I'm kind of going in South France. I'm like, hey, you guys, catch up. We got to get this up here. So hopefully, what I'm working on will be big enough, and get the attention of the French fashion ministry there. Um, and we've got our accreditations all lined up, so we'll be obviously there for the normal Fashion Week seasons.
Mhm.
You'll see us, so she will be there.
I'm in awe of you. I bow down, Queen. I bow.
Oh no,
Yes, yes. Tips and advice for future fashion entrepreneurs.
tips and advice. Close your ears. No. um, Listen to yourself. There are tons of people, and probably still do, think that I can't do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you have to do is really be steadfast, believe in yourself, build a super ironclad team.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do that, if you've got your people, you've got your village, nothing else matters. And if your team is only one other person, that's fine. That's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that. But you also have to be tough skinned. Wouldn't you recommend that as well?
You have to have tough skin. You would have to have tough skin to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say to a certain level is when you have tough skin, you are allowing certain things to penetrate you.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm promoting more innovators. I need you to innovate. I need you to pave your own road.
Mm-hmm.
So you can have the tough skin, you can take whatever you want, but let the tough skin and let it roll off your back, because you're still building where you got to go. You know what I mean? And again, shifting the paradigm, that's what needs to happen, because a lot of that tough skin stuff I feel is so unnecessary. I really feel it's unnecessary. It's counterproductive. Critiquing is great. We need to have a certain look. We need to have certain things to be a certain way. But if we spend too much time on that, we lose the focus on what the real art is at the end of the day.
What the essence of the art is.
Correct.
Yeah, I can understand that totally. I mean, I often I try to see the beauty. I'm always the glass 3/4 of the way full versus not. That's me. And I try to be as positive as I possibly can, but I also believe in recognizing the fault that needs to be changed. And because if I don't recognize it, don't acknowledge it, it's still going to be perpetuating itself.
Right.
And so that's something that I'm one of my strong suits, where I say, look, this is happening over and over and over again. There needs to be some kind of change, and let's go fix it. This is how I'm going to bring you some information or some suggestions on how to fix it. I'm not just going to complain about it.
Exactly. And educate yourself. That's another tip that I would have. Really educate yourself, research your market, research other markets, research the competitors, and then still circumvent that to yourself, and see how you can innovate and make the change that's necessary. Find ways to get resources. A lot of people stunt themselves because they're like, oh, I don't have the finances. I don't have the money. I don't have this. Start to research and figure out other ways how you can do. Maybe you can't do a show right away. You can get into a shared show. Maybe you can't own the store, but be a vendor at a boutique somewhere. That's exactly how I started. I was a vendor at someone's boutique in Atlanta before I learned anything about, so you gotta walk the tightrope a little bit and learn, and don't be afraid. Eat humble pie a little bit, but also know who you are.
Exactly.
Know who you are and who you're going to be at the end of the day. And
I think you have to understand on your moral and character principles.
Yes, it's so important. It is so important, because people just want to chase the success and they omit everything else that comes along with it. And that's why we are where we are today in some cases, right?
I like the way you said that. That's so
so you got to you can't lose your fabric.
Yes, baby.
Yeah.
Yes, baby. I understand totally.
Yeah.
What are in 10 years, where are you going to be?
Oh my God. Okay. So 10 years, I want to own a chateau, and I want it to be a partial showcase, showroom. I want it to be an event space where we can actually host fashion events. I want it to be like the House of Posh. I want it to be a multi-purpose place in a beautiful area in France. And um, I'm just still looking like this. And rich. No, but seriously, I would like to have educated and developed at least 10 successful CEO and fashion brands. So I'm giving myself a metric of one per year that I
That's
see
what
from
I'm gonna say.
start to finish. I'm not seeing a lot of that, and I'm calling it out. I'm not seeing a lot of that in our industry. I see all these fashion show production companies. Oh, this fashion week, that fashion week. This. What have you done for a designer? I need to see from A to Z. What have you done? How successful is this brand once you touched it? Let's do that.
So, baby, I'm with you. Can you also develop models along that line?
Of course. Absolutely.
Can we also look at the seasoned models, because we are there and we are wanted and needed?
Very, very much.
We do have wisdom. We still have a lot to offer.
Yes.
40, 60 being the new 40 or whatever you want to call it. I like it 60 being 60, baby. And proud of it.
Very. It should.
Because I work hard.
I'm trying to be like that when I'm 60, skin just a glow. Listen.
You will, baby. You will. No problem. You're beautiful. Your skin is radiant as well. The decolletage is flowing, boo.
Thank you.
Decolletage.
Thank you.
Love it. And that smile, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. But yes, I'd like to see, us claiming our right to be here, and it's about time. And we're not done at 22. The 30-somethings have something to offer, the 40-somethings, the 50-somethings, the 60-somethings. I want to be the oldest Black living working female in the history of the industry. I will be on my walker with my little flats on, advertising the flat shoe, the cheetah walker, right. and also the caftan I got on with the head wrap. That's gonna be me. I'll be 105 years old in a wheelchair talking about, come on, baby, bring my shoes, in my wheelchair, and advertising the wheelchair and the caftan and the head wrap and the little drop earring and my pearls. Yes, I'll be an icon.
An article out about that. Actually, there was an article. I don't know if it was GQ or not. I'm gonna research again. But there was an older model. I think she's like almost 80, and she was like they did a whole spread on her, and she was fabulous.
Are you talking about Colleen? Was she Caucasian or is she a Black model?
She was Black.
Okay, this is not the same woman. Colleen is the one that's 92 and it's a cover girl.
No, not Colleen. She was Nigerian, I think. I'll send you the link when we get it. And it just came out like a couple of days ago.
Okay, send me that link because I'm aspiring to be like her. And
she was fabulous.
And that's what I'm talking about. Yes. In all the fabulosity. Yes, ma'am.
And I want to see more business women. I want to see, again, like I said, I want to see more producers. I want to see more designers and more models. Actually, I want to see more modeling agencies. I want to see, more designers that are actually embarking on the business and understanding the business of it. I know it's really hard to balance your creativity, your production, and then trying to do admin and back office stuff. We do have to, delegate appropriately.
We have to learn to do that because we take too much on ourselves and then we drive ourselves cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yes. But
then we have breakdown.
More of it. I want to see more of it. I want to see more CEOs. I want to see more of us in those spaces also. I want to see more female editors. For me, Susan Taylor is my hero. I love Susan Taylor. She ran Essence. I met Susan Taylor when I was like 12 years old. In a mentorship program that we in that school I told you I grew up in. It was a mentorship program that I was selected to participate in, and they took us to the Essence Awards, and I was like 12, 13 years old. And from there, I saw, first of all, I thought she was the most beautiful Black woman in the entire planet. So educated, so well spoken.
It was just the way she held herself.
And she's still that way. And it's, and
I can only imagine.
We need more Susan Taylors, please. we need more. So.
What I loved about Essence as a girl is that they said what they needed to say, and they weren't afraid to say it.
Yes.
And that's something I took away from Essence when I was young, in Jet magazine, to be in the Jet centerfold and things like, you know what I'm saying? They were never afraid to say who they were in their own right. Nor was Ebony. And those were 3 magazines that were table magazines on my table. You know what I'm saying?
Mom too. My mom too.
So you understand, we're getting all kinds of comments. Oh my God, yes. Yes, Brandon. Yes. He's talking about take them back. Yes, we will take you back, baby. Those were real times when the elegance and the sophistication of Black women was just being and the
celebrated, and just
couple was there, and the power of the educator, and the power of black men, and the strength with them holding their women up was all open and saying, here we are, we represent. Right. And it was in your face every day. And everybody read the magazines, and everybody bought the magazines. And it wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Black excellence was celebrated in those magazines. And it needs to be back.
It does. It does.
It needs to be back.
It really does.
And we need to have those laying around the house once again, or magazines of that nature are better. Laying around the house once again for our children to grow up looking at, laying down on the floor on their stomach, like I used to lay on and read the articles, when I was growing up, that gave me confidence in our people.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? All right, we're going to final thoughts. Any final thoughts for me?
I think we kind of covered the final thoughts in just our last few months of the conversation, because that's just really where I'm at. I feel, and it's not just, and guys, please don't shoot me. It's just like, I'm not going on a tirade for Black this, but I am saying that we do need to see more of it. I would love to see more of it overseas. And it is very receptive over there. We're just not going. I think, get out of your screens, step into the world. The world, come to us. Come on out. Come see the world, and see what's going on out there, because it's a huge, wide world, and there's so many things to see and learn and try to understand and cultivate, and you can still turn that all into art at the end of the day. That's what I'm pushing. Latrice, what are you pushing? Is it this? Is it that? I'm pushing art. I'm pushing art.
When you go to Lagos in Africa and do a show, I will be there.
Okay.
That's a challenge for you. I want you to go to motherland and let's do a show.
Okay.
I will be there because I cannot wait. I'm internationally published from there.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so I would go there and just represent, just because I was published from a magazine there and loved it, and I think they've got some fashion going on.
Yeah.
The motherland is producing, baby, and they are not taking no prisoners.
No.
And they're unapologetic about it, and I love it.
That's the good thing.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate you, and I plan on having you back, because you and Bentley, I want to have you both back at the same time as a dynamic couple doing in the business, showing people what it really is supposed to look like. Thank you for teaching us and giving us all your wonderful tidbits. You are a beautiful soul.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. Peace and love to you, baby. Model love always.
Always.
This is your girl, Zahara Gihana, saying yes, 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 baby. We're going to get back to you. You all have a happy holiday, wonderful Thanksgiving, and wonderful Christmas, and baby, go out there and spread your joy like you have been.
I
Keep
will.
on keeping on, sis.
For real.
All right. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. This is Zahara Gihana from Models Talk. As the holiday season approach, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our participants and fans for their unwavering support. Wishing everyone safe travels and happy holidays from my family to yours. This is your girl, Zahara Gihana. Bye-bye.